Hey, deep divers. Ready to kickstart your brain with some martial arts knowledge?
Always up for a good mental sparring session.
Me too. We got a really cool article sent in from Sipigol Texto.
Oh, yeah, I think I saw that one.
It's all about comparing Wing Chun and Taekwondo, and let me tell you, it got me pumped.
It's a classic matchup. Always a good debate which one is better.
Right, which one is for you? Like, imagine yourself stepping into a dojo for the first time. Are you drawn to the lightning fast moves of, say, Bruce Lee?
So more like that close quarters combat kind of thing.
Exactly. Or do you picture yourself pulling off those incredible high-flying kicks like an Olympic athlete?
Totally different vibes. And that's Wing Chun versus Taekwondo in a nutshell.
Perfect way to put it. And this article we're diving into, it's called Wing Chun versus Taekwondo, comparing two iconic martial arts, lays it all out there.
It's a great breakdown of the origins, too. Like, did you know Wing Chun comes from China?
I did not.
Yeah. It's all about practical self-defense. Like, imagine those narrow alleyways. That's where Wing Chun shines.
Makes sense, right? So then Taekwondo, that's Korea.
Bingo. It evolved into this system that's big on discipline, respect, and those powerful, precise strikes.
No wonder it's an Olympic sport.
Right. Makes total sense.
So we've got China, close quarters, and Korea, kicks galore.
And totally different strategies at play, too.
Speaking of, let's talk about the philosophies behind them, because that's where things get really interesting, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Wing Chun is all about efficiency, using your opponent's energy against them. It's almost like a dance, redirecting force, finding those openings.
It's using their strength against them. I love that.
Exactly. And then you've got Taekwondo, which is built on discipline, self-control. It's about mastering your own body to deliver those powerful strikes.
Okay, that's super cool, but let's get real here. What are the everyday benefits of each art? Like, besides feeling like an action hero, is there stuff in there for us regular folks?
You'd be surprised.
I'm ready to be surprised.
Let's start with Wing Chun. Have you ever heard of Chi Sao?
It rings a bell, but I could use a refresher.
Think sticky hands.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now I'm with you.
That's Wing Chun. It's about developing crazy good reflexes, where you can basically sense your opponent's every move.
Whoa, that's some next level stuff.
Tell me about it. But it's not just speed. You develop this crazy sensitivity to touch and pressure, almost like a sixth sense for combat.
Wow, okay.
And because Wing Chun's all about efficiency of movement, it's super practical for real-life self-defense.
So if I'm ever in a tight spot, like a crowded bus or something, Wing Chun's got my back.
Exactly, you got it. But don't think it's all fighting. It's a full-body workout, core strength, stability, the whole package.
Yeah.
And mentally, just as powerful. You learn to stay calm under pressure, which is useful no matter what you're doing, right?
For sure, for sure. Okay, Wing Chun sounds pretty amazing, but now I got to hear more about Taekwondo. What makes it special?
Well, get ready for some serious flexibility.
Mm.
We're talking high kicks, spinning kicks, you name it, like gymnastics, but way more powerful.
Sign me up. I've always wanted to kick higher than my waist, but really, though, what else is there besides the impressive flexibility?
Taekwondo is amazing for strength and cardio. All those kicks and punches, you build some serious power and stamina.
Makes sense.
But it's not just physical. Like Wing Chun, it really helps with discipline and self-control, which, as we know, is good for every part of your life.
So whether I'm trying to crush a work presentation or resist that extra donut, Taekwondo can help.
You got it. You start to see those benefits everywhere.
I'm starting to see why so many people are drawn to these arts. It's wild how much impact these arts have had, even beyond just the fighting part.
Totally. And you know what else always blows my mind? The history behind them. We're talking centuries of tradition passed down, shaped by some seriously legendary figures.
Right. Like stepping into a time machine.
Totally. And luckily, this article dives into some of those big names, brings those stories to life.
Okay, so let's start with the OG, the legend himself, Ip Man. Most people probably know him as Bruce Lee's teacher, but he was way more than that. This was back in the early 1900s, and Wing Chun was like this super secret thing hidden away in temples and stuff.
Yeah, only a select few got to learn it.
Exactly. But Ip Man, he decided to change all that. He brought Wing Chun out to the world and basically revolutionized the way it was taught. What a legacy, right?
Absolutely. And then you have someone like Leung, another Wing Chun master. He believed in taking what he learned in the training hall and testing it out in the real world.
So he was out there, like, putting it all on the line.
Exactly. He wasn't afraid to get his hands dirty, prove that Wing Chun worked.
That's what I'm talking about. It's one thing to learn the moves, but another to actually use them when it counts.
And that's why people remember him.
Yeah.
He showed that Wing Chun wasn't just some theory, it was effective.
Exactly. Okay, now we got to talk Taekwondo. What about the masters on that side of things?
Well, you can't talk about Taekwondo without talking about General Choi Hai. He basically took all these different Korean martial arts and combined them into the Taekwondo we know today.
That's incredible. I didn't realize it all came from so many different
Oh,
styles.
yeah. He took the best of the best, standardized everything, created the ranking system. It was his vision that made Taekwondo what it is today.
Wow, what a story. And of course, he was the one who helped Taekwondo become an Olympic sport,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. His fingerprints are all over it.
Wow. Okay, and now we can't forget Jhoon, the man who brought Taekwondo to America. Talk about a cultural game changer.
Absolutely. He really opened the door for so many people to experience Taekwondo.
I mean, to take something from one side of the world and share it so successfully with a completely different culture, that's amazing.
He was a true pioneer, saw the value in Taekwondo, the discipline, the self-defense, and knew it could benefit everyone.
Totally. Okay, so we've got these incredible traditions shaped by these amazing figures, but we also got to acknowledge traditions change, they evolve. So what does that evolution look like for Wing Chun and Taekwondo?
You hit the nail on the head, because even though these arts have been around for centuries, they're not stuck in the past.
Exactly. So how have they adapted?
Well, let's start with Wing Chun. Because of its emphasis on efficiency, on what works, it's actually stayed pretty true to its roots.
That makes sense, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean it hasn't changed at all. Teaching methods, for example, those have evolved to become more accessible, to fit the modern world. And of course, you can't talk about modern Wing Chun without talking about Bruce Lee.
I was just going to
Uh,
say, he's like the poster child for Wing Chun, even though he developed his own style.
exactly. He took what he learned from Ip Man, added his own spin on it, and created Jeet Kune Do.
See, now that name I do know. Jeet Kune Do. It sounds so cool.
It's all about being adaptable, like water, using whatever works. And that really connects back to Wing Chun's core principles, wouldn't you say?
100%. It's about using what's effective, adapting to your opponent.
Okay, so what about Taekwondo? How's it evolved, especially with it being an Olympic sport now? Well, that's been a huge influence. The competitive scene has really pushed Taekwondo athletes to achieve some insane levels of skill. The speed, the height of those kicks, the spinning techniques, it's all gotten so much more intense.
I bet. It's like you're not just learning for self-defense anymore, you're learning to perform.
Exactly.
Okay.
And that's led to this incredible display of athleticism and precision that we see in tournaments.
So cool. And speaking of different focuses, didn't this article mention something about different styles within Taekwondo? What's that all about?
Yeah, so you've got your International Taekwondo Federation, ITF, which is more about those traditional forms, self-defense, powerful hand techniques, that sort of thing.
Okay, so it keeps that traditional aspect alive.
Exactly. And then you have the World Taekwondo Federation, WTF, the kind you see in the Olympics. They're all about that fast-paced sparring and those flashy kicks.
So even within one art, there are different paths you can take, different things to focus on. It's amazing. Really shows the depth and variety in martial arts. Okay, so we've covered a ton of ground here. The history, the philosophies, those incredible masters, even how these arts have evolved. But I know what everyone's thinking now.
It's decision time, right? Which
Yep.
one's for me?
Exactly. Which one's going to be your new jam? And luckily for us, this article does a great job of laying out the pros and cons to help us decide.
It's a tough choice. They both have so much to offer.
No kidding. All right, so let's break it down. Wing Chun, that's your close quarters combat expert.
Ultimate self-defense, especially if you're in a tight spot.
Right. No room to swing your arms around. Wing Chun's got your back. Plus, you learn to use your opponent's strength against them, develop crazy reflexes, even cultivate that inner peace that Bruce Lee was known for.
It's a complete system, for sure. But it's worth remembering that while those close-range techniques are super effective, they might not be the best if you've got some distance between you and the opponent.
Good point. Got to keep that in mind. Okay, so what about Taekwondo? That's for the folks who want those high-flying, gravity-defying moves.
Yeah, it's like unleash your interaction hero. Plus, you get in incredible shape. Strength, cardio, flexibility of the works.
Sign me up for those kicks. But seriously, what else is there besides looking awesome?
Well, just like with Wing Chun, there's a huge mental aspect, too. Discipline, self-control, focus. Those are skills that benefit you way beyond the training hall.
Absolutely. Okay, so both of these arts sound amazing, but they're definitely different beasts. How does someone even begin to choose?
Honestly, it all boils down to you. What are you hoping to get out of this? What are your goals? Are we talking self-defense, competition, fitness, or maybe even just personal growth and pushing your limits.
It's like picking a vacation. Are you looking for a relaxing beach getaway or an adrenaline-pumping adventure? Both are amazing. Just depends on your vibe.
Exactly. If you want that efficient, adaptable, street-smart style, Wing Chun might be calling your name.
Hmm.
But if explosive power, dynamic movement, and the thrill of competition get you fired up, then maybe Taekwondo is the way to go.
And hey, why choose? Maybe try both, see what sticks. This deep dive was really just the beginning of your martial arts journey. Hopefully we've sparked some curiosity. Now get out there and see what speaks to you. Find a local school, try a class, maybe even two. Explore. Who knows? You might discover a whole new side of yourself.
That's what it's all about, right? Finding what lights you up.
100%. And hey, here's a little food for thought as you embark on this martial arts adventure. We've talked about Wing Chun being about adapting, about going with the flow, and Taekwondo, that's about precision, about mastering your own body, your own movement. So my question to you, deep divers, is this. What do you think this all says about the kind of person each art might attract? Something to think about. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep that martial arts spirit alive.